2017 is easily one of the best years in gaming we've had in a long time, especially if you're a fan of RPGs, with plenty of other things to also play. These are the top 10 games of 2017. Resident Evil 4 was an instant classic. Resident Evil 5 I had a lot of fun with, since I played it co-op all the way through. Resident Evil 6 sucked. It sucked bad. So I'm really glad to see Resident Evil get back on track with Resident Evil 7. It reminded me a lot of what made the fourth game so fun to play. You start off weak, scared, and underpowered, but by the end, you have enough weaponry and upgrades that there isn't much to deter you from blasting down all the enemies on sight. It brought back the horror themes that made the original series so popular, along with puzzles and inventory management. Whether it was scary or not is more subjective, but this was a well-made game that brings with it some great moments.
I'm sure it's okay. I'm sure it's okay.
I am not much of a Sonic fan. I feel like I've made that perfectly clear a few times in the past. But I did enjoy the Genesis Sonic games growing up, particularly Sonic 2. Sonic Mania is another Sonic game straight from the Sega Genesis. It uses nostalgia in just the right way. Start with a level you're familiar with, and then do an all-new one with their own twist on it. Plus, it has some of the best boss fights I've seen in a 2D Sonic game. It instantly captures the fun that older games have by offering a fair amount of platforming challenges and bursts of speed as rewards. It really shows how much love fans have for this series, as Sonic Mania was essentially developed by a group of Sonic the Hedgehog fans, and they crushed it. I wasn't as high on this as others, but damn, Super Mario Odyssey is a good-ass game. Precise controls give you maneuverability for Mario, allowing for all kinds of insane jumps and shortcuts and speed runs and personal challenges. It has loads of secrets, stages, unlockables, and just fun gameplay. As much fun as it is playing as Mario, my favorite part of Super Mario Odyssey is being able to play as all the different enemies in the game. They all have such different mechanics and are used in a lot of the boss fights. I really like Flingy Bird, Stretchy Legs guy, and Stretch Caterpillar guy. It is an excellent Mario game, and this is one of those games that every Nintendo Switch owner should have. Visual novels aren't exactly a very popular genre, so it takes a real special one to stand out. And thankfully, DokiDoki Literature Club does just that. This is another one of those games where the less you know about it, the better. It really is best to go in as blind as possible. Take all of your expectations and be ready to throw them away. Sure, all the girls are really cute, as is writing poems to make your way into their hearts, but this game is not for the faint of heart. It'll take your empathy and use it against you. I wouldn't put this game on the list without good reason. But again, it really is best to say as little as possible and not spoil it for anyone who hasn't played it. Or at least watched one of the billion Let's Plays of the game out there now, including my own. DokiDoki Literature Club is completely free too. The music is lovely and so many moments from this game have stayed with me since I finished playing it. I hope you get a chance to play it for yourself. And if you do, just spend the most time with me, okay? Cuphead is not quite what I thought it was going to be. I assumed it was going to be a super stylized run and gun game in the same vein as Contra or Gunstar Heroes. I was only partially right, and what it ended up being was much more enjoyable. There are a few side-scroller levels, but those are like 15% of the actual game. For the most part, it's a boss rush against imaginative, tough bosses. It nails the perfect formula of being hard to beat, but not so hard you feel like you can't do it. Every time you die, it shows you exactly how far you got, letting you know just how close you were to beating it, which makes you want to try again. It's diabolically manipulative in a positive way. It has the right amount of reinforcement to make sure that you don't give up. I know it's easy to applaud the game's art style and music and animation and all that, but I don't think I need to, as it speaks for itself. I'd rather focus on just how great the game itself is, and it's totally worth playing. Especially since it's co-op, which I'm always a sucker for. I've talked before about how much I enjoy Final Fantasy XIV, and its newest expansion, Stormblood, continues to be just as fun. I was a bit concerned going into it as I wasn't quite sold on the Eastern aesthetic, but it quickly won me over and the locales were more varied than I thought. It has a few things that I absolutely love. The land of Doma, and the return of certain music from Final Fantasy VI, and an all-new raid based entirely around Final Fantasy Tactics, baby! I'm a simple man. I see tactic stuff, and I will like. The storyline is excellent, with one of the better villains the game has had yet. Even though there isn't a new healer or tank job, the new Samurai and Red Mage are sweet to play as. It has much better pacing than the previous expansion, and it still gets regular patches to add in even more dungeons and gameplay. The only thing that Stormblood needs is more harsh font. Somehow. I don't know if there's a way I can describe Nier Automata and do it justice, but I'm gonna try my best. At its core, it's a hack and slash action game, but it's more of an RPG, but it's also a scrolling shooter, and sometimes a twin stick shooter. It's a lot of things. Most importantly, it's really good. What I loved most about it is that every mechanic is used in some way. Even something such as dying and getting a game over has a unique twist to it. I love the entire setting where thousands of years into the future, the Earth is boned and only robots remain. I love seeing 2B, the stoic android protagonist, slowly break out of her shell. There are tons of side quests, and decisions you make can greatly alter each playthrough. And this game highly encourages multiple times playing it. It has lots of endings, some of which can only be obtained by playing it more than once. Some abilities can only be obtained by starting over after the credits roll. The gameplay is great, but I think it's the overall narrative and what they do with it that really makes it stand out for me. In fact, I know I'm missing some endings. Maybe I'll go back and get some of those. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't beaten this yet, but my god is it good! Persona 5 easily has the best style of anything I've seen in a long time. The presentation is absolutely incredible, from the script to the cutscenes to character dialogue to the menus itself. I've never seen an RPG be this flashy while retaining its core gameplay. It's visually appealing while still keeping the same kind of demon-killing RPG gameplay that Persona is known for. And of course, that same high school attendance and social life is still just as good. It's more than just romance options, as the activities you choose to do affect the rest of your day. And when you only have so many days in the entire game, you really have to prioritize what you do or who you hang out with, or if you decide to go dungeon crawling instead. There's that old saying, style over substance, but Persona 5 has both. This is not a game where I recommend you set aside an entire weekend for it. You're gonna need like 5 weekends. 6 weekends. Maybe 7. This is likely the least surprising entry on this list. Don't care though, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is amazing. The amount of freedom it offers is unprecedented to any other Zelda title. It makes the concept of go where you want a reality unlike any other. It is pure gameplay at the forefront. It's the staggering amount of little details that culminate into such an excellent experience. Discovering how to find Koroks, different ways to cook meals, to messing with the physics, or different ways to solve shrine puzzles, Zelda has so much to offer and then some. I typically get very bored by open world games, but Zelda's entire landscape was meticulously crafted so that every little bit has something there for you to discover or something interesting to at least go see. It's incredible to have a map this open, yet this dense. It was so fun that even after I beat it, I still went back and played it, just to screw around or find more Koroks. I think that alone is a signal of a great game, keeping my attention after it's over. And the new DLC for it is great too. This very well could be the best launch title Nintendo has ever had. I love this game. Divinity Original Sin 2 is freaking awesome. It's a throwback to computer RPGs back in their prime in early 2000s. Imagine something akin to Baldur's Gate or Neverwinter Nights, but with highly tactical turn-based combat. Every single fight is determined. Nothing randomly shows up. If there's a fight, usually it's your fault. Most battles you don't even need to do, and you can talk your way through. But if you do fight, the sheer amount of variety Divinity 2 offers shines through. It encourages you to experiment and combine character abilities to destroy enemies as hard as you possibly can. This could mean dropping oil to slow them, and then starting the oil on fire, then using rain to put the fire out and make the smoke protect you from archers, and then electrifying the smoke to zap the people who are stuck inside. This could also mean taking one of the enemies and teleporting them so far away there isn't anything they can do about it. It wants you to beat the game in the best, most imaginative way possible. And even without the combat, Divinity 2 has something that most RPGs forget about. Role-playing. Character choice is everywhere alongside a staggering amount of customization you can do. Party members have interesting personalities and side stories, and so many side quests are easily missable if you don't look everywhere and search everything. And the entire game is co-op. It is no secret that I'm a fan of RPGs and tactical games in general. Divinity Original Sin 2 gave me everything I could hope for and so much more. Even after all of those, I know there are plenty of other amazing games that I just completely missed. Horizon Zero Dawn comes to mind. I never got to that one. I'm sure there's plenty others, so please let me know in the comments below what I possibly have missed. I'm sure there's tons. 2017 was just so good. So 2018, you got a hard act to follow. Well, at least you're starting strong.